that's going to happen. What else do you hope to what you hope to learn today? No one else?
Man, it's going to be easy. No one
Oh,
wants
it's
to
going to
learn
be
anything.
easy. Let's do that. Like, do you ever find that you make things hard? Raise your hand if you ever find that I know some people on my team better put their hands up in the air. I know that for sure. Like, we have this belief in our head if it's not hard, then there must not be value. Well, I am going to debunk that for you today. We're going to go through, I'm going to share my screen with you right now. Again, we have some links that we're going to be putting into the chat. However, just know that I'm going to screen share everything. And by the way, if you find yourself, gosh, I don't know how to use that technology, I'm willing to stay after to help you understand the technology so that you can make this super easy as you're going through the process. So I want to wrap this concept from the last class. Can you put in the chat for me? Put in the chat if you attended the first session of this series. So can you put that in the chat if you did? And one of the things that we talked about in that chat is what's your value proposition? And so I took things that you all said in there. I asked ChatGPT. I put things that I thought in there. And so I want to talk about that quickly, just so that you can keep it in your mind. Sometimes we got to sell ourselves on the value as we're sitting with a client that says, hey, look, we are valuable. We're important, that there is a high value proposition that equals whatever it is the commission. Do I have anyone that is not with EXP? Put in the chat if I have anyone that is not EXP. Okay, take a look at that for me because I want to phrase this question, this statement correctly. And so let's talk about what's going to happen today. As we do the duties owed, we're going to be delivering what we call vignettes. And so a vignette is really simply just a way to tell a story. It has an emotional connection to them. So when you're thinking about the duties owed, I want you, as you're going through the process, to start to think about your own personal vignettes, your own stories that drive home these points. And you certainly can borrow mine. You can use them. However, I also want to make sure that we open the opportunity in this duties owed to make it very personal to you. And so we'll work more on how do you develop that vignettes. It's really easy. So first and foremost, in the value proposition, what's that? In the value proposition is this. If you have had a smooth deal in real estate, there is likely a real estate agent to thank. Think about that one. How many times have you heard someone say, oh, it's easy? It is most likely easy because there was a great real estate agent involved in the transaction. This is some interesting information. 87 National Association of Realtors says that 87% of all listings are represented by a buyer's agent. So I want you to think about that as we're going through this process that you're talking about in the duties owed, being able to demonstrate that you are one of those 87%, that no matter what happens as we find new opportunities and what the market looks like today and moving forward, that you are potentially one of those 87%. When we think about the value proposition of hiring a real estate agent, I want you to write this down. Okay, can you make sure that this gets put in the chat? I want you to always think about planning for the worst and hoping for the best. And so when we start talking about this value proposition, it is anticipating that things don't go well. Hey, Cody, question for you. In your transactions that you close, how many of them, what percentage of them go smooth as silk? No problems, like they didn't even need you.
Probably 10% or less.
Okay, I just closed one of that. Amazing agent, amazing buyer, amazing seller. Like it was smooth. However, we know, I think that's pretty fair that 90% of the time there's going to be some significant challenges. And so when you're doing the duties owed, you're giving them the opportunity to say yes to you, not for what we hope will happen, but what might happen. And so one of those things that we really want to pay attention to is appraisals. Our ability to represent the buyer through that process and negotiate should it go wrong. Within the last 90 days, I've had an appraisal that was $50,000 off, an appraisal that was $2,000 off, and an appraisal that was $15,000 over. Right? So we don't know that, and neither does the buyer that we're about to talk to. We are protecting these buyers against unscrupulous buyers, unscrupulous sellers, other agents that are unscrupulous, that it doesn't matter that lie, steal, and cheat part of the duties owed we're going to talk about. That means nothing to them. And you don't know who that's going to be until you get into the transactions. Working for a buyer, working with listing agents that don't have the knowledge, skills, and ability, and they haven't built the team around them. And then all of a sudden, their side of the transaction falls apart because of the lack of experience on the other side. I wanted to pay attention to the law piece, the legal part of this. Even as much as the SRPD, if you had the chance to be in the state broker meeting today, there's a new service that's out there that's very interesting. I'm intrigued by it. I want to learn a little bit more that offers a type of protection for a seller legally. And so when we think about the laws that the buyers have to comply with, the laws that the sellers have to comply with, that just because they're unrepresented doesn't mean those laws don't have to be followed. And by the way, not knowing the law is not defensible either. And so really one of the biggest reasons being hired, and I want you to be thinking about this as we go in the duties owed, is that we know these laws. The next one is our ability to write contracts, right? Using strategies that put your buyer in the best position possible. Being able to review counteroffers, being able to be in a multiple offer situation and win, right? So being able to negotiate those contracts so that the buyer gets the best opportunity possible. This is a big one. I had a broker, this is so funny, give me a call this past week and say, hey, Denise, I'm representing a buyer and they want the seller to pay for the solar that's on the property. How should I address that in the contract? And my answer to them was say nothing. And they're like, what? Say nothing? Yeah, because under personal property, solar is addressed and it says free and clear as is in the current condition. So I'm just looking to see if the listing agent knows to counter that back out, knows to do the seller addendum. Otherwise, I just wrote a contract that is going to get my buyer that solar for free. So these type of strategies and knowing about personal property is a big benefit that we can bring to the table. Strategies, problem solving, solutions, right? That is the beauty also of being part of the Synergy group. You're not alone. The board of directors, the agent council, we're here to support you as you start to work on transactions and you find yourself in territory you haven't seen before. Know that when they hire you, they hire us. And we want to be able to have that spirit as we go into the duties owed, that we become a client advocate. That when you're in the client strategy session, the buyer strategy session, we no longer are calling them consultations, we're calling them strategy sessions, that you can become their advocate. Because through this process, hey, raise your hand if you know it's going to be emotional. Raise your hand if you know it's going to. Have you ever seen a buyer go crazy, right? 2 hands up, 2 feet up, right? As a result of them hiring you, saying yes, that you get the chance to often be their voice of reason. Through the process that you are always protecting and promoting their best interest. And sometimes that's saying no to that deal, even though emotionally they want it. It doesn't meet the goals that they said. And so we don't have commission breath. Our commission is the last thing we consider. And as a as a business person, I think that there's a lot of importance in creating revenue and profits. However, we never lead with a client in that scenario. The next one is I went out and I asked ChatGPT, hey, by the way, what do you think the value proposition is of a real estate buyer's agent? Man, they came up some really cool stuff. So I wanted to bring that to the conversation because I want you to be grounded in what you're about to do. I want you to be grounded as you start talking through this duties owed, because I am unable to guarantee you're going to get hired 100% of the time when you don't even believe that you should be hired. You don't even really, you think they should hire Cody, they should hire Dave, they should hire Diana or Kim or me, but not you. And we want to dispel that. We want you to know with great certainty as you step into these conversations that you are absolutely the one that they should hire. And if for no other reason that you have a team around you. So when you get a chance to get into the Asana project, what we did for you is we actually took two of our agents on our team and they did a video of presenting the duties owed. And you'll see right here, we have a link for you. So you'll be able to do that today and in the future. Diana is actually going to role play with me. Woo-hoo! Diana's going to role play with me. However, we wanted you to be able to leave with something that you can do time over time over time. I want you to become obsessed with the duties owed, obsessed with the presentation, such that you can use it not just in presentation form, but you'll find this language that you'll be using in lead conversion, setting appointments, at open houses, this language that we're talking about. So we presented that. Is that valuable to anyone to be able to have a recording that you could look back on a few times? Awesome. I'm so excited about that for you. All right. Well, I thought we just needed to be a little fired up. Sometimes I'm low in energy and people get confused, about how excited I might be. So let me show a video real quickly here. What? That's not the one I want to do. There we go. Hold on one second. I could have swore we did something different on this. Give me one moment. Copy.
If you're a business owner, then animated explainer videos are the best way to capture attention.
I think we all need a pep talk.
Can you hear the volume?
World needs to stop being boring. Yeah, boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, are we on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team. Be on my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. A poem. Two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled. Music, boom, rocks, thorns, and glass. The bones broke. Not cool, Robert Frost, but was there one word for that? I won't be the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said, don't stop believing. Unless your dreams then you should get a better dream. That's how it goes. Get a dream and keep going. Keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he did quit. So he retired. Yeah, yes, he retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam. What will be your Space Jam? What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there. That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. Proud of it? Oh, It's we were made to be awesome. Let's get out there. I don't know everything. I'm just a kid. I do know this. Everybody's due to give the world the reason to dance. Let's get to it. It's something that makes the world awesome.
You just got a pep talk, ladies and gentlemen. How awesome is he? Diana, who does he, not Diana, Kim Maddie, who does he remind you of?
Oh, well, he reminds me of my favorite nephew in the whole wide world.
Me too, Kim. And I had to do it for that reason when I was
Thank
going through,
you. So
right?
cute. I'm gonna find that and send it to him. He'll love it.
Well, we'll send it. We'll put it in the chat for you, Kay. We'll do that. However, you have a duty. As we get started in this, you have a duty to make the world awesome. And is there anything more awesome than owning real estate? No, absolutely nothing. And so, with that, we're going to dive into the duties owed and start seeing how you can use that to get hired. How many percentage of the time? That's what
100.
there you go. 100% of the time. All right. So let me ask some questions. So come off of mute, everyone off of mute. This is a conversation until Diana and I actually start diving into the role play. But what is a duties owed? Anyone got some ideas? Come on. Dave Riker, what's a duties owed?
Come on. All right. So it's what you as a licensed realtor owe everyone in the transaction, as well as specifically what you owe your client in the transaction, spelled out what you ought to know as well as what you should know.
Yep. Okay, I love it. What else? What's the duties owed?
Our job description.
That's it. That's what we call it. The duties owed is the job description of a real estate agent, which is what you were saying, Dave, right? And so what it is not is a contract. It is a disclosure. It's the job description. What should people know? So interesting. Literally, as I'm sitting here, I just get a text in and it says, "Hey, my name is Evelyn. I'm a friend of this past client. We need some help finding a home. We just went through a kind of not fun sale of our home with our realtor, and they feel like they didn't do a great job supporting us." Literally, as I'm sitting here right now. I mean, Cody, how many times have you got a text like that?
Yeah.
Dave, how many times for you? Right? Lots and lots of these. And so normally you get that text when someone has went in, they've already hired someone and it starts going sideways. So I want you to think about this. When you don't get up out of bed and do real estate and share with people your greatness, you put people at risk because their need for real estate didn't go away. They just chose someone else. And unfortunately, a percentage like 90% of agents do not have the gift of our community. Whether you're a brand new agent or you've been in the industry for decades, we have all of us in this community. And sometimes I think the agent that just has one day, and I especially think that's true as we start moving in to this next season of real estate, are some of the best agents. They don't all have all those bad habits. So I want you to know wherever you come from today that you're important, you're valuable, and your ability to go out to do lead generation activities. You know, one of the people I have so much respect for is Dave Reichert. I've spent years watching him. I spent years watching Dave kind of dabble in real estate in the very beginning. Would that be fair to say, Dave?
For the purposes of this call, yes.
Yeah. Now you look at where you are today and the way you're contributing and the way that you're participating and the way that you're leading. And my goodness, the mountains that I've seen you scale. We can all go back to the point where we just got into real estate. And so this duties, the more appointments that I set, the more opportunities I have to give the job description of a real estate agent, give them the chance to hire me, the more that I protect and promote the best interests of our industry. So I want you to get seated in that thought. I want you to get seated in that concept as we start moving forward in the conversation. Kay is going to once again put the links in for the duties owed. She's going to put the links in for Asana. If this is something that you want to know more about, how you can customize this, we wanted to make it super easy for you. And Cody and I had this conversation when we talked about me doing this presentation. I've been training on buyer's brokerage agreements for so many decades that owners of brokerages called me stupid. That people would literally come to my classes, they'd go back to their broker, say Denise presented the BBA, and they said, don't listen to her. So I've used this tool, the duties owed. I've used this tool as a BBA decades in my own business. I've been training it for decades. And I'll tell you that a brand new agent can see this, learn this, live this, teach this, and create success almost immediately. Diana, you've been on my team for about a year, right?
Yes.
One of the very first things that you've done. And so presenting the duties owed at the very end of the duties owed, what is the question that I'm hoping she gets this right, people, just so you know. I got a lot on the line, her getting this question right. At the very end of the duties owed, what is the last thing that we say to a potential client?
Do we sound like the team that you like to hire today?
Yeah, give it up. Woo! I'm feeling lucky today. I think maybe I should go down to the strip, right? No, that's not luck at all. That's training. That's Diana using the system over and over and over again. And so we know that this works. And so we hope that you will practice with it as well. This is not a one and done. I'm not saying that here today. You don't get hired 100% of the time without it. Diana, how many times have you not gotten hired? And let's just say you've done 30 consultations. Out of those, how many have you not got hired?
Once.
So got a lot of evidence coming to you today that says, I don't care where you are in the business. And I'd love the chance for us to help you create something that's special and meaningful to you, or use it just as we have it. So with that going, we are, Diana is going to join us in the conversation. Diana, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am relocating with my family to Las Vegas from Southern California.
Oh, hold on just a second. The real you.
Oh, I thought we were role playing.
I told you this was going to be fun. I just delivered on that. The real
All
you,
right.
Diana.
The real me. All right. Born and raised in Los Angeles. Moved to Vegas in 94 and stayed here. Let's see, I was 14 years in Caesars Entertainment, corporate payroll, and then 5 years doing textiles for a corporation as well. Yeah, I have two adult children and then one 7-year-old. I have a fabulous husband who's always looking out for his family. Here's the little 7-year-old. Okay, go over there. And been licensed for 3 years, been with the client team for 1 year. It's been such an amazing journey.
So, and I appreciate and value so much the amount of commitment that you've made to learning. And so I hope that that by each and every person being here, you have that same commitment. So now what, Diana, we're going to do is we're going to go into the duties owed. So can everyone see my screen? It's a split screen. Everyone see that? All right,
Yep.
so I'm going to give you another tip. It's called rectangle. So this is a really easy application that will split your screens in 2, 3, up and down. So one of my favorite things. And then I can get 4 screens going on because I have 2 screens divided by 2. So it's going to look a little bit smaller if you're looking at mine. So know that the duties owed, we sent you a link if you feel more comfortable on looking at it directly. Then you're going to see every single thing we have on the left-hand side here. So we have the setup, then we're going through section 1, section 2. Everything that we say is put in here abbreviated. So we want you to know you get to use this as a template. So as you're going through the template, you can keep what we said. Oh, I like that. And then on the next one, oh, I want to add that story in, or I want it to be that, I want it to sound that way. So this could be a hybrid, or it could be exactly what you want it, exactly how we have it, or you can change it all. We just wanted to make this easy for you. Diana didn't get it easy this way, just so you know. So the process on the team of learning this is that you have to go through the video and you have to actually write it yourself, and then you have to practice it yourself. And then you're going to see down at the bottom here, we have a test for you. Right here, scorecard. So you'll be able to do the presentation and score yourself. How are you doing? You're at 25%, you're at 50%, 75%. And the goal is to get you to 100%. Diana, when you first started learning the duties owed, how did it feel in the beginning?
It did not feel natural. I didn't know what I was saying. Yeah, I didn't, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
How
not
many of you
natural.
feel that way when you start doing scripts? They don't feel natural. Let me see a show of hands. Right? Doesn't feel natural. And it's not going to in the beginning. Just know if you stick with it, man, it is going to become part of your DNA. It's going to become part of your DNA. All right. So with that being said, now Diana, give us your persona. So who are you going to be in this conversation?
So my family and I are relocating from Southern California to Las Vegas for a job opportunity.
Okay.
And we don't know the city. We come here a couple times to visit, but we stay in the Strip. And now
Okay.
it's time to look for a home.
Awesome. So she's a relocation agent. And if any of you are interested in learning how to do a tour of Las Vegas, that's certainly something that we can support you with as well. So Diana would have had an initial conversation with us where we would have set an appointment. So that is the most important thing I want you to know about this duties owed, is that a duties owed is presented in an appointment. You're not going to do it in a opening conversation. So we set an appointment. I know all about Diana's background. I've started the conversation that says, hey, when they come here, we are going to do a tour of Las Vegas. When do you want to get hired? Let me ask that question. When do you want to get hired?
The appointment.
Okay, at the appointment, right? When do you want to get hired? When do you want that appointment set? As soon as possible. You know, I'm old enough, and a few people on here are old enough that there was a day that we didn't have the internet. Shocking, right? Real estate was not done on the internet. However, it isn't today. So literally, this happened to me just yesterday. I have an agent that's a referral agent to me out of California. Referred me 2 clients, referred me a third one on Saturday, said, hey, can we talk on Monday? I said, yep. Guess what? On Monday, I forgot to make the phone call. I forgot to follow up with him. Yesterday, he sent me a text. Hey, Denise, I understand you could be too busy. I'm sorry about that. And I'm going to find another agent. And I was able to jump right back in and say, I know, right? Hey, like, I'd rather be transparent and honest with you all. Like the same challenges that you find yourself in, I find myself in. How about you, Cody? Dave, Kim, how about you, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I was able to jump right back in, get him back on board. We had an immediate phone call, $1 million transaction. That's what's really sad about this. $1 million transaction. high-rise property, 3-bedroom, going for $1,000 a square foot. And got him back on board. We scheduled the time for them to come down. He connects back with his clients, and they found another agent online. 100% on me. I don't know if you quickly did the math in your head, but I did. And not only that math, but the risk that they have, because you know what? I just keep thinking about, who did they get? Who they get? Will they care? And so want you to know, as you're going through this process, when you set that appointment, you want to do this duties owed as soon as possible. And we often do it online. We often do it in a Zoom environment. Diana, what percentage of times are you doing the duties owed on Zoom versus what percentage of time are you doing it in person?
About 85%, maybe 90% on Zoom.
90% of the time. So I need to tell you a trick. Are you ready? You've got to get this piece of it right. So when we get online, not before, nowhere else, you're going to ask this question. Hey, look, do you have access to your email right now? If you miss this point, the chance of you getting hired just dropped by 50%. Yeah, awesome. I want to send you a test email to make sure that you get my email. So we send out a test email to that. Yeah, I got it. Awesome. And just to give you an idea moving forward, because you're going to send out the duties owed electronically to them. And you're going to have them sign it while you're there. You're going to get them to open up the document and sign it. If you do not do that, the chances of them actually signing it, do you think it goes up or down? Let me see. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Down. 100% of the time. We're going to do this with the duties owed, and we're going to do this through the BBA. Obviously, if you're in person, you have the documents, you're presenting them, you're getting them signed through there. All right, Diana. Diana and I went through what we call the 5 keys of communication. I put that down below in the same project. And if we have time, I'll review what those 5 keys of communication are. However, we have created an emotional connection, right? And the way I have an emotional connection with Diana is we're laughing and crying. Now, I want you to write any questions that you have as we go through this process down. And we are going to speed this process up for the purposes of this training. So if you, through the process, are thinking of an objection, write the objection down, and we can talk about what are the objection handlers, because you've got to be able to handle objections in a very confident manner, in a very certain manner. Otherwise, you break down trust. So Diana, for you, if 75% of the time the answer would be yes, then you're going to say yes. If 75% of the time the answer is no, then you'd say no. All right, I just want to pause for a moment. Any questions before we get started? Kind of done a big dump for everybody. All right, here we go. So Diana, I am so excited to get started on the house hunting journey. You excited too?
Absolutely. I'm excited. Our first home, so a little nervous, but excited at the same time.
Yeah, if you weren't nervous, I'd be surprised. So Diana, before we get started, the state of Nevada requires that I give you my job description. You know, we recognize that hiring the right real estate agent is the most important decision you could possibly make in the process. Do you think that's true?
Yes.
Awesome. So we're going to give you what's called the duties owed by the Nevada Real Estate Division. Now, I want you to know this doesn't constitute a contract for services or an agreement to pay any type of compensation. Hey, Diana, just a quick question. Do you think it's a good idea for you to sign something you haven't read?
No.
Oh my gosh, we are going to get along really well, because I don't think so either. Now, if you decide to hire us, Diana, you're going to hire us by signing a buyer's brokerage agreement, okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So we're going to pause right here. So I want on the left part of my screen, you see where it says setup? These are the 5 components. I would not change any one of those components. It's critical that they say that they don't think it's a good idea to sign something they haven't read, because that's giving us authority to now go through the whole document, which is critical. It's important we use the word if. If they decide to hire us, they're going to hire us by what?
Buyer's brokerage agreement.
Exactly. So you don't blow it from this point on. And remember, Diana gave the one-liner. Based on what you heard today, do you think we're the team you want to hire? The minute they say yes, Dave, what's going to happen?
You're gonna bust out that BBA and get hired.
Get hired. And I want you to remember, getting hired means you just protected them. You just protected them. Because without getting hired, they're online, and who knows what's going to happen. So I want you to keep that in mind as we're going through this. So Diana, we're going to go through what we call section 1. And the first one is the licensee. So my license number is 46990. And I want to make sure that I have your name spelled correctly. So in here is where their names are going to be. Want to keep in mind, if this is an LLC, if this is a corporation, if this is a family trust, you have to get the governing documents so we can make sure they have the authority and they're in good standing to actually execute this document, the duties owed, or execute a contract with us. So Diana, do we have your name spelled correctly here?
Yes, it's actually spelled correctly. Yay.
I got that Daiana right, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Hey, Diana, quick question. Are you the only one that's going to be purchasing the home?
It'll be me and my husband. Yes.
Okay, you and your husband. So pause. So that's great. Now I know I have a problem, because who's not on this call with Diana?
My husband.
All the decision makers.
Exactly. So just promise you that would never happen with me. Man, she just threw me under the bus quick there, right? No, all decision makers, right? A really important question. Who are those people? Now, keep in mind from time to time, when we do the qualification process, that they will need to add someone onto the process. And we will, if that does happen, we're going to want to have that new person sign a duties owed. It's required by law, right? So if we're adding someone on, if we, if the husband isn't actually here, I stop. I do not go through the consultation, because this is what will happen. Diana is going to leave super excited. She's going to go back and tell her husband how excited she is, and his defenses are going to go super high. So basically, you want to be able, and that's a whole other conversation, how you handle that environment. And it's not that that never happens, just for the record. All right. So we now have that question. So Diana, when you look through here, we're talking about you buying a home. Question, do you have a home to sell?
No, this is actually my first home.
Awesome. So let me just interject. Yesterday, I'm out on a listing. It's a divorce situation, very delicate. Through that conversation, I just have it marked as a seller. And through that, they tell me that one of the husband is going to buy a property. And so I say, hey, is it okay if I include that as part of this strategy session? They said yes. So in this particular scenario, I'm going to mark seller and buyer, right? So keep that in mind as we're going through that. So then we're going to break down here the broker. So Diana, I never expect that there would be a time that you would have any type of concern with me that I couldn't solve. So would it be okay that we agree that if you have a concern that you would come to me first so I could solve that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want you to know my highest priority is to make sure that you are wowed. Now, if that didn't happen for any reason, I want to introduce you to our broker, Spencer Walden. Okay? So then explaining supplemental licensees. This is a really important point to talk about. If you're working in partnership, you're on a team, anyone, listen to me, anyone that is going to be viewing any confidential information needs to go on a supplemental. So, Steve Matthews, if you go on vacation and you call me and say, hey, Denise, I don't want to pay attention to my phone. I'm going to put it down. Will you cover for me while I'm gone?
Absolutely. You
100%,
got the
right?
supplemental signed?
Yep. Why? Why? Why do I have the supplemental signed?
Because anybody who touches this contract or touches this transaction is a party to it, and liability is shared by all.
Yeah. I literally had a conversation with a broker 2 days ago that a buyer went sideways, and after they closed the property, went through every single piece of paper to find any mistake that his agent had made. He found a mistake on a lead-based form, and that broker ultimately ended up buying back the property for the tune of $60,000 to avoid a litigation. So this is a law thing. This is one of the things you want to make really clear, that if you have someone that is a licensed real estate agent that has anything to do with this file, that they are on the duty zone. All right. So that's what supplemental. I think it's also a really great way to set a standard with your clients that says, hey, I'm going on vacation. I have someone here that's going to take care of it, because we want you to have a quality of life. Any of you like to go on a vacation without looking at your phone? No, I'm doing it. Don't be looking for me on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm in Lake Tahoe on a boat, I'm hoping. So, like, that's the quality of life. That's what you've entered into with being in Synergy, is that kind of support. All right. So, Diana, you ready to get into some nuts and bolts of all of this?
Yes, let's go.
Awesome. So section 2, Diana, are the duties that we owe all parties. So remember, I told you, Diana, when you hire us, you're going to hire us by signing a buyer's brokerage agreement.
Yes, I remember.
Awesome. So these are the things that I owe you before you hire me. Notice my language. If, before, this, like planting the seed that the question is going to come. And these are what we start to call trial closes. So, Diana, the very first thing here says that we're not going to lie, steal, or cheat. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, why would it be on here?
Diana, I'm with you. I'm not sure why the state of Nevada, see, I'm saying state of Nevada, why the state of Nevada would think it's important for that to be the number one thing I tell you, but they do. And so we're going to deal with you fairly and honestly.
Awesome.
Diana, number 2 is reasonable skill and care. And so this says that I'm going to be able to actually deliver the knowledge, skills, and ability. I'm not going to make promises to you that I can't keep. And I can tell you with a surety, based on what I've heard you say, that I have the knowledge, skills, and ability to help you accomplish those goals. Okay? Awesome. Diana, number 3 is disclosure. So this is really one of the main principles. Let me see right here. Yeah, this is one of the main principles that we have as we start thinking about how we approach our representation to you. So the very first one is that we're going to protect and promote your best interest. The next is we're going to disclose everything as required by law. The third, Diana, is we're going to document everything so it protects you today and in the future. You see, Diana, we believe that if it's not in writing, it does not exist. Diana, do you think that's a good idea to put everything in writing?
I think so, yeah.
Awesome. So then, Diana, we're only going to have one verbal agreement. You know what that is?
No clue.
The only verbal agreement is we're not going to have any verbal agreements. I
Okay.
want to make sure, should anything happen in the future, that you're protected. So let's talk about what that might look like. So, Diane, there could be a time where a challenge or an opportunity or a gap shows up. I'm going to call you with immediately what it is. what the solutions are. We're going to talk that through. And when I hang up, I'm going to put back in writing what I heard you say, just to make sure that we're on the same page. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's good. Sounds good.
Awesome. So that's how we're going to move forward. Item number 4, really closely, cousins to 1, which means we won't break the law.
Oh, again?
Again, we're not going to lie, steal, or cheat, and we're not going to break the law.
Okay.
And I want to tell you, Diana, that I'm an instructor for the state of Nevada. I teach contract law, agency ethics, risk reduction, buyer representation, seller representation, and law. And so I want you to know that I always have the most recent laws in my business to protect you. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So Diana, as we start getting through to section 3 here, these are the duties that I owe you when you hire us. Okay. Notice now how I've transitioned. So now I'm using this now that you've hired us. I want to pause for a moment and get a couple of people. How does it feel to you when you hear this language about if, when, trial closes? What's your initial emotional reaction to it?
Setting up to what's next, like what's
I love
coming up
that,
next.
Diana. Setting up what's next. Give me some, come off of mute. I don't want to have to voluntold you, but I'm not opposed to it.
To me, it's a very subtle way of getting me in step with what's coming next.
Yeah, we're in a business meeting, Steve. Absolutely. Absolutely.
For me, it's
Denise,
just setting those expectations for the client so they feel comfortable and they know, I mean, they're with you all along with each line and understand. So their expectations are already high up there. And I'm thinking at this point, they're already saying, what is this if business? Of course I'm going to hire you.
Yeah. Question. That's a great question, Kim. How many of you right now are feeling more comfortable that I'm a real estate professional? Right? You haven't quite decided if you're going to hire me yet. Kim, Maddie, you came in to the Client Team MV as a brand new agent. You learned this system.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how has this worked in your business?
So thank you for teaching me these skills. They're amazing, and I have continued to use your best practices here with the duties owed and the BBA, especially now with the new changes that are coming in 6 days or so. Yeah, we have to communicate our value proposition in a way that makes every client or potential client comfortable with our knowledge, skills, and abilities.
So Diana, give me not Diana, Kim, give me an idea. How many times have you not been hired when you use the duties owed presentation? Have not been hired?
Not once. I have been hired every time, 100% of the time, using your best practices with duties owed. Absolutely.
So I don't know, but I'm kind of thinking I have some Starbucks cards anyways, just in case. But you've heard 2 people say. Now I only got like a 99% from Diane. I had to work on that one. But yeah, the system works. So let's get into the duties owed now. So item number 1, clients, so reasonable skill and care. So Diana, I'm going to go through exactly what this says. So number 1 says that I need to exercise reasonable skill and care to carry out the terms of the brokerage agreement. I want to just pause for a minute, Diana. That brokerage agreement is the buyer's brokerage agreement you're going to use when you hire me. Okay.
Okay.
And that the licensee's duties to the brokerage agreement or the property management agreement. Diana, so number 2 here is really what we call our secret sauce. So Diana, could you ever imagine a time where we wowed you, which is our expectation, and that you knew somebody that was looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Would you feel comfortable referring them to us?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And you can start referring them right away, just so you know.
All
However,
right.
what we want you to know is about this number two, that the law requires that we hold all of your information confidential for 1 year. Now, we do even better than that. We're going to hold all that information confidential for a lifetime, which means you can have 100% assurity that we are never going to tell anyone about your transaction. So if you refer your mom and she starts asking me questions about your house, I'm not going to tell her. I'm just going to say, ask Diana. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. Yes. That sounds like a great plan. My
And I
mom's a
just
little nosy.
no, she's not alone. And I just want to thank you in advance for all of those referrals that you send our way. Like that is how we have built our business over the decades. So you see how I turned that piece into starting to get referrals when?
Right.
Right now. So many times we think we can't ask for that referral until we close. And the truth is, they'll have more people asking them about real estate during the process than they will have after the process. So this really sets an opportunity for us to do that. So this, Diana, is number three. This is the most fun. After you hire us, Diana, we're going to spend rest of the time finding your dream home. And so this is the seek, sell, purchase option. And we're going to go into the MLS together. We're going to create your dream search and we're going to start that process. Now, once we find that offer, number 4 talks about presenting all offers. So we have a strategy, a proprietary strategy that we use to help you not just write offers, but to win. And in the opportunity in this market is still very competitive, and you may find yourself competing in multiple offers. So whenever we can, we're going to present the offers in person. Does that sound like a good idea to you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. So you're going to see that when we about 25% of the time, based on our relationships that we have with other real estate agents, we're going to be able to meet with the seller, meet with the listing agent, and present your offer in person. Now, from time to time, we're not able to do that. And so if we're unable to do that, we are going to present a cover letter that's going to have 5 components to it. And so then we go through what the cover letter is. You'll get a sample of that as we finish here. Now, Diana, we do one other thing that's unique. We want your offer to stand out, right?
Okay.
Diana, have you ever had a nothing bundt cake?
You know what? No, I haven't. Everybody talks about that, but no, I have not yet.
Oh my gosh, put in the chat. I want to hear what's everyone's favorite nothing bundt cake. Diana, what's your favorite nothing bundt cake?
I really haven't tried it.
You really Diana, you really haven't?
No, I haven't.
That'll be fixed this week. All right. It's white chocolate raspberry for me, ladies and gentlemen. And so we are going to make sure that we deliver to the listing agent a nothing bundt cake as an opportunity to create an emotional connection with him that shows we're willing to go over and above, that we are really here to create a win-win environment. That sound good to you?
Yes, sounds really good.
Awesome. So
Getting excited.
you're getting excited. I love this. So you're already seeing yourself with keys in your hand, right? Decorating. That's a good sign. We're going to go through what material facts are with Diana as well. We're going to talk about how critically important it is. And you'll see to the right here that we've given you all the components and the talking points about material facts. Now, Diana, one of the reasons that you might have hired us is because of our business partners. And these are people that we do business with that our clients have had a great experience with. And so from time to time, you're going to find that you might need a mover, you might need a contractor, definitely going to need a lender, a home inspector. We're going to introduce you to 3 of our partners that our clients have had a great experience with. Just want you to know that you have the right to use anyone that you want. After you've talked to them, we're going to ask them to call you directly. After you talk to them, you just tell us who it is, and then we'll take it from there. However, if there's whatever anyone that you want to use. We just want you to know that we're happy to introduce ourselves and bring them into the transaction as well. Really critically important as far as steering is concerned. I can tell you this one piece has saved us in a risk reduction environment multiple times. Now, Diana, let's talk about money for a moment. So as we move through this transaction, there's going to be 3 times that you're going to need to give us some money. The first one, and you'll see everyone off to the right here that we give those 3 reasons. We talk about earnest money right here. We have the talking point for home inspection right here. And we have the talking point for appraisals right here. Now, this is really important. After you go that, you have to ask this question. So Diana, quick question. Do you have those funds available now?
Yes, we're ready to go.
Awesome. We often hear that they're being gifted to us. We just had a client that literally closed the earnest money deposit they gave. We ended up having to give back to them because 100% of what they did was gifted. And so we've also had times where they said, oh no, I don't have that money yet. When do we want to know that they don't have earnest money deposit?
Right away.
Otherwise, you find yourself writing contracts showing properties for people that aren't yet prepared and they have a hard time talking about money. So section 4, Diana. So from time to time, we have a listing that matches your criteria. Would you want us to show you that property?
Yes, I want to see it all.
Awesome. We want to show you it all too. However, you'll see right below that the state of Nevada allows me, number 1, to be a single agent representing both the buyer and seller. However, you could see where there could be a conflict in interest. You would never want me to give your confidential information to the seller, right?
Oh, no.
Right? So as a single agent representing both buyer and seller, I have to hold that confidential. So if I'm going to hold your information confidential, then Diana, you would never ask me about the seller's information, right?
Right, that sounds fair.
Awesome. And so Diana, in closing here, I'm so excited to hear about your dreams. And I am 100% confident that I and my team together can help you. Do we sound like the team you would like to hire?
Yes, let's go.
Awesome. So fantastic. Now it's time to hire the client team NV. Show of hands. How many of you hire me? Do I owe any cards? It doesn't matter. I got a Starbucks card for all of you. So do me a favor in the chat. If you want your Starbucks card, give me your mailing address and we will get it sent off to you. I hope this has been valuable. The board of directors, the agent council, we are here to support you. And so thank you for showing up. Encourage people to come back. Be part of this, be part of this process. I'm finding myself in way more classes as we're moving forward. And so thank you for being here. It's been an honor to be with you. Cody, thank you for asking me to do the class. And I'm excited. Cody,
thank you very much, Denise. That was wonderful.
Awesome. Cody, anything you want to say?
Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button there. I just want to tell everybody on this call, if you do not take this to heart and implement this into your business, you are doing yourself a disservice. That was absolute gold again from Miss Denise Klein.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it so much. All right. Peace out from the Dream Maker. Bye, everyone.